My parents were sad, but my brothers and I were overjoyed. I couldn't wait to get away from that awful street and those mean people who, no matter what we did or what we didn't do, they were always there, ready to hurt us.
But I don't think the neighbors and stuff have no right to just mess with them and try to hurt them and stuff. I don't think that's right. They're acting like they're all Mr. Perfect or Lady Perfect or whatever you want to call it, because like the girls would play with her at first until their parents got with them, and then they thought, well, I'm all perfect because I do all this and I have friends. But then they just want to pick on her and their family just because of their race and color of their family and because of their Puerto Rican.
I don't think they should have the parents should have gave anybody a second chance, because, I mean, they should have moved out right away. If they felt that they were unwanted, they shouldn't have stayed there in the first place. And I don't think they should be in any more harm. If they don't want to get hurt, I don't think they should stay there. I think they should have moved out at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's like a crime to the people in that neighborhood that they can't live in there because they're from Puerto Rico or they're from a different country or between race or color. And I believe, Ashley, if they did feel that they were unwanted, then they should have left because they just made it worse by staying.
I think it was kind of stupid of the mother to, like, give them a second chance, because, like, if they beat your children up or something, you shouldn't stay there and let some more of your children get beat up or yourself. Like, when she had the water poured on her, I mean, that was kind of stupid of her to just stay there.
But it was her right. It doesn't matter if, I mean, somebody could beat them up, and they still have a right to live there. They shouldn't have to be forced out of their house. It shouldn't be like that because they want to live in a place. Even though they were hurting their kids, I know that was bad, but they shouldn't have to leave just because other people couldn't accept them.
I don't think that the kids wanted to beat her up, because first they were all playing and stuff until their parents caught them on the steps and stuff and told them, and what they were whispering. And I think that the parents told them to do that.
I bet if the parents would have never stepped in, I bet the kids would still be playing. Felita would feel a lot better in the neighborhood. She knew a lot of kids and everything.
Yeah, I think that too, because they were all playing and having a lot of fun, and they didn't think anything of it. And people in the group were saying that Felita was really good and stuff, and then all of a sudden the parents came out and made them go over there, and that's maybe the reason why they were whispering about her and stuff.
Parents were the ones.
I've heard someone say this on TV. They're talking about race discrimination, and this person said that you could put 5 kids, all different races, in a sandbox, and they could play forever and live together happily, and when somebody comes along and tells them that they're different and they shouldn't hang around each other, they'll just separate, not talk to each other anymore. People can live together as long as somebody's not teaching them that that's wrong.
I agree with Ashley, what she said a minute ago. I mean, they have every right to live where they want to live, no matter what race they are, and that was very unfair what they did, and nobody should be hurt for having rights, and I mean, it was wrong. And I mean, there's no black people that live on my street now because there were people that were very prejudiced in my neighborhood, so there used to be a black family that lived there, and they moved away. And I'm not prejudiced against people, you know, and everyone has rights, but I mean, it's just not right that there's no black people that live in our neighborhood anymore because they were run out.
I agree with Lauren, but like when you're saying they have every right to live there, I think they have every right to live there, but they shouldn't really stay because everybody's getting beaten up, and what is it to hurt somebody than to live in a house, than to go back to their old block and not be hurt?
I don't think they should have to be chased away.
I don't think it's fair. I mean, the people that are doing this stuff to them are wanting them to move. That's what they want. And eventually, if you just keep on trying to ignore them. I mean, if they come and try to kill you or something. Well, you know, but they'll quit.
But
I mean, they have to quit
You've got to
eventually.
ignore people.
But
If
she's
they
up
let
here.
you, if you stand up for yourself and you feel that you have the right to live anywhere you want, and you feel, even if your kids are getting beat up, that's not your fault, and you shouldn't have to move out because of it, because you have the right to live wherever you want to live.
But Johnny tried to stand up, and he tried to hit and everything, and he got beat up.
No,
But
I'm not
you-
talking
wait a
about
minute,
using
but you're up-
violence.
but
I'm
you're
not
up-
talking about using violence.
You're up here all proud saying we need to ignore.
No, I'm just speaking what I have to say.
And
I
that
ain't
they
proud.
should live there. But I think they're doing the right thing because they need to move because
I don't think so. They shouldn't have to move away because some people who are
they
racist.
shouldn't have to. But these people
But you're
are
just up
racist.
here, but you're up here saying that they can't. They have to because people don't like them.
Yeah, they should be able to stay, but these people are doing stuff to them, beating them up and everything, so they need to move away. They have the right to stay
They
there.
don't need to. They don't need
If they
to.
keep on moving away,
The
next
group of people that are Puerto Rican or a different race, they'll just kick them out too. If one person stands up for themselves and stays there, that'll inspire other people to stick up for themselves, stand up for themselves, and I bet if people just keep on doing that, the people that are messing with them will just stop and quit and accept what they're doing.
But I agree. Actually, I got one question for you. Would you want to live in this neighborhood and be beaten up every day? Would you want that to happen?
I learned the whole.
If that's what it takes for, if that's what it takes for them to stop bugging me.
Okay, think this. There were 16 boys coming after you, ready to beat you
What's
up.
boys got to do with it?
16 people, funny. There's 16 people coming after you, trying to beat you up. What would you do? Just stand there and take it?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Ashley,
I'm saying I'm not saying 16 people coming after you. I'm saying stay where you live. Yeah, if you're living somewhere and you have the right to live there, and just because you're from a different race or you're a different country,
But they don't care.
Why should you get beat up?
they just hate you. They don't care.
Oh, they're not going to put on the news about a neighborhood being really, really racist because
It's not just one neighborhood.
we don't know.
It's a lot of neighborhoods.
But these people, they had no idea.
This all
that
started
this was gonna
when
start.
all these grown-ups and people who are picking on it, it all started when they were kids. Their parents had these same morals, and the parents did the same thing that their kids are doing, and so it all happens with the kids. But if you teach the kids not to hate everybody, that way you can have a better world.
But it's stupid because
If your parents are teaching you to beat up other people because of the color of their skin, you have to wake up and realize the way your parents are teaching you is
Some
wrong.
parents say, kids, now, some parents tell their kids, you can beat up people. You can go ahead and beat up people. And so they will because they know they won't get in trouble. But the kids whose parents say you're not going to beat up anybody won't beat up anybody because they know they'll get in trouble.
I agree with your statement, how you said parents.
But it's really... Steven's talking, y'all.
I agree with your statement on how you should say not to beat up kids to your kids. You should tell them that. But if they see a kid at school, they think he's all cool and stuff. They see him beating people up. What are they gonna do? They get an influence.
They'll get an influence, all right.
Yeah,
And then they'll learn a lesson real quick that if they do it, their parents told them not to, well, they're gonna get a good old whipping or get put in detention.
Wait a minute. Let me make a connection, and you tell me if I'm way off base. Let me make something, and you tell me if I'm way off base. We started this morning talking about last week with a sub, and you all said that Tuesday was a little rowdy, jerky. The eclipse was going on, and you all went outside, and you got in trouble in the hallways. You got in trouble in lunchroom. And Miss Biggs was saying, wait a minute, you wouldn't do this, you wouldn't act this way if Miss O'Brien was here. And you all said this morning that, you know, some of the thoughts that went through your head was, well, what will Miss O'Brien say if she comes back and she's told this? What kind of punishment might there be? Then I think I also heard a lot of you say, but we got it together Tuesday afternoon. Just because we knew.
We thought we were going to lose something because we might
So
parents
punishment.
we would get in trouble.
That's punishment.
Yeah. Because I'm not used to being bad. I mean, if I talk when I'm not supposed to, then I feel bad. I mean, because I don't like getting in trouble. Not just because of the punishment, because I don't feel right getting in trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, but, like,
Jamal?
I just thought that what would we do if Miss O'Brien was here? How would we respect her? And Miss Biggs is the same as a teacher, just like Miss O'Brien, and she come here to just teach us and help us while you're on vacation or something.
One thing is, I kind of got tired of being rowdy because when
It got boring.
I mean, it gets boring all the time. We get in trouble so much during the day. It's kind of boring. We don't want to get in trouble no more because Lord knows what's going to happen if we get in trouble more times. And one thing is respect, like Jamal said, because what would we do if Miss O'Brien was here? Sometimes we do, sometimes we
So
don't.
is there a connection between that kind of, well, how do we act when a substitute is here, and some of the bigger issues that you're talking about? Well, how do we treat someone when they're new on the block? Are there any connections, or am I stretching it?
I think there's a connection because she is a teacher, just like you are. She came to learn it. She's come to teach us, so we can learn. She was taking her time to teach us, and I just felt bad that I wasn't.
Like Ashley just said how it relates to the book. She said she's a teacher. It doesn't matter. She's still a teacher. She's coming in here to teach us. Well, Felita, she's still a person. She can come in there to live. So it connects because Felita's they're people. Miss Biggs is a person. They both have something to do. Like Felita has to live there. She has to teach us, you know, and to get a better education. It's their own rights, and they should be treated fairly. They don't have to be treated wrong.
Because, I mean, it's not fair to Miss Biggs or other classes or other teachers either because, I mean, if we're, like, really loud, they can't teach their own classes, and that's not fair to the other students or anything.
Yeah, if they hear us being, the class, another, like Miss Henderson's class heard us being all loud and their class is trying to work. I mean, their class might think since we're doing it, it's okay for them to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's take that same thought. If they hear us, and let's think back of that group of girls when at first all the ugly talk started. Would it have been possible for that group of girls to maybe not do anything different that very day, but or a certain family? Would it have been possible for a family to do something after this, you know, after they heard what was happening to Felita's family?
I think that it was possible that they could have gone and like if they were white and they weren't Puerto Rican or anything, they could have gone to those people. They had the power to say, I don't think this is right, and they are really good people and they're just normal people. But they didn't.
You know why?
That's, I mean, they could say, like, if somebody came in and said, like a policeman came in and said, did anybody try to stop you? Did anybody try to stop you from, you know, them beating up and everything? And you could have said, I thought about it. I thought I was going to do it, but you didn't do it, and that's what counts.
That they should have done it?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
Think about it all you want, but if you don't do it, it doesn't make a difference.
And would it make a difference if one person or one family?
If one person or one family did the right thing, it might influence other families.
It could help, but it might not. Just one family, the other families might think, well, they're good. We'll start pushing them around too. Not just Felita's family, but their family, because there's more families that are probably prejudiced.
You can't stop the hating, but you can stop the fighting.
What do you mean?
You can't stop the hating because that's just other people's opinion. I mean, what they like about other people and what they don't like about other people. I mean, you can't stop them from not liking somebody.
See, I wonder, too, if you stop the fighting, you might stop the hating down the road.
I mean, you maybe can stop the
Some of
fighting,
it?
but sometimes you can stop the fighting if you, I mean, sometimes you can stop the hating if you stop the fighting, but most of the time, like, if you stop the fighting, that ain't gonna work. With the hating, they might not even talk to you or not like you. I mean, they might even, like, if you stop them from beating you up, they could get somebody else to.
Okay. I have one more question. When I read this book, there was a little part of me that went, ugh, with this chapter. Ugh. I don't know if I want to read this book. What do you think about reading books and talking like we are doing this morning?
It's not like it's make-believe or anything. It's like it's true. This is really what's happening, and that you've got to learn that this is happening and not to be prejudiced. It's because it's just like treat others the way you want to be treated. They're just showing you that what's really happening, so you can learn that that might happen to you.
How does knowing what's really happening help you to understand?
Well, I mean, it helps me understand that these people, the way they feel, these people feel that they're left out, and I don't want to feel that way, and I don't want other people to feel that way either. So it teaches me that I will not do stuff like that. I will not try to hurt anybody and say bad names to them because of their race.
But we're reading about it in a book. How does that?
Even though it isn't a book, it sounds so real.
That book is just like what's happening on the world. That is exactly what is happening in the world. People getting beaten up because of their color or race.
The book is taking us behind the scenes of a town. The news will show us what can happen and probably what will happen, but this book's telling us what does happen. What is happening today, every day.
Like reading a book like that, you get to hear how the people, like if you're the bully and you beat people up, you don't know how those people feel, but reading a book like that, you can know how they feel getting beat up. So I mean, it may have to think twice.